This may be the biggest list I've ever done. I'm looking forward to a lot of movies this year, and I need you all in the comments down below letting me know, what did I miss? What should I not be looking forward to? And are you excited for 2025? I have 50 plus films to talk about.
You what?
Really, the goal of today's video is just to give you all a bunch of movies that are coming out this year. I will let you determine what you're excited for and what you're not. And that's kind of where I want to start. Here are some movies that I'm really nervous about. Now, this doesn't mean they're going to be bad. It's more so me looking at them and saying,
I mean, it's all right, like...
I'm gonna need something, like a great trailer to get me excited for these films. Let's start with some sequels or franchise films that are coming out that I'm just very hesitant about. First off, there's a new SpongeBob movie. They haven't gotten that right in quite some time, so we'll see. How about Snow White? I just don't know about this. The decision to do CGI'd dwarfs, the casting, maybe it'll surprise me, but I don't know, these Disney live-action remakes. A Simple Favor 2. I really enjoyed the first film, but I'm not sure what they're going to do with the sequel. Now You See Me 3. I actually think this franchise is okay, but I never really had a craving for a third one, and so not super excited for it. This is going to ruffle some feathers. I need a great trailer for Megan 2, because while I thought the first one was fairly fun, and I know a second one could be a lot better, but it all really depends on the marketing for me. How about Greenland 2? Do you remember the first Greenland? I guess I kind of do. The Old Guard 2, same thing here. It was fine, it was fun, but a sequel? The Strangers Chapter 2, one of the worst movies of last year. No need for this at all. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Another one? Okay. Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2. Again, ruffling some feathers. The first one wasn't great. We'll see how the second one goes. Final Destination, another one. So we're adding on to this franchise. Not super excited for it. The Conjuring, what are we on now? 27? The first one of the greatest movies of all time. At least this is the last one. Freakier Friday. God, I want this to be good, but I just can't get motivated because it almost feels like a cash grab. We'll see what the trailer holds. I could change my mind absolutely. Another Smurfs, this time an animated movie, a musical, so at least it has that going for it. Not a live-action movie, that's good. A new Anaconda with Paul Rudd and Jack Black. A lot of this is going to depend on the trailer, the marketing, because I just don't know about this one right now. The Minecraft movie. The trailers, I don't have a deep connection to Minecraft, so I just don't know about this one. We'll see. Maybe it'll surprise me. And then finally, a new original concept, at least. That's good, right? But the Russo brothers just haven't done it for me outside of the MCU. Within the MCU, they're amazing. I'm not excited about the Electric State. It looks very average to me, but we'll see. Who knows? Okay, now we're going to move into sequels, franchise films, kind of that category of movies that I'm a little more excited about. Still hesitant. I'm nervous for these films, but I'm a little more excited, right? The Bad Guys 2. I loved the first one. Hopefully they're not milking it DreamWorks, you never know, but a lot of style to go off of. The Ballerina John Wick spin-off film. I love this idea. Which direction is it going to go? Is it going to work really well like the John Wick movies or just feel like a pointless offshoot? The Black Phone 2. I was very surprised with the first Black Phone. How are they going to approach the sequel? Because if you watch the first movie, how do we even get a Black Phone 2? I don't know. I'm hesitant. Den of Thieves 2. This one actually comes out very soon, but, I enjoyed the first one. Don't know if it needed a sequel, but I'm happy to see it. I know you guys are going to crucify me for this, but you know what? I'm kind of excited. Happy Gilmore 2. Is it just Adam Sandler and friends, or are we going to get something genuine here? I'm excited about the possibility, but scared to death that this movie's going to suck. How about the new Karate Kid? Look, I didn't love the trailer. I have no clue what direction they're going to go, but adding in Jackie Chan and finding an unknown to play the lead, man, there's some really cool things about this, so kind of excited. Look, I didn't love the first Mortal Kombat, to be honest with you, but there's something about the idea of another one where they can expand on characters, do something cool, so hey, sign me up for a Mortal Kombat 2. How about the Naked Gun reboot? Look, this seems so stupid on its surface, but they got Liam Neeson, and the fact that they got Liam Neeson kind of gets me excited. Saw 11. Look, I know it's the 11th movie in a Saw franchise that shouldn't really have more than 2 or 3, but Saw 10 was actually really good, so bring on Saw 11. Lilo and Stitch. This film could be really sweet and genuine. I know it's a Disney live-action movie. We don't need those, but hey, Stitch, pretty cool Stitch. That sounds more like Gollum. How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action movie. Look, it could absolutely be a pointless live-action rehash, but I love the idea of getting the same creatives on board. And the trailer was actually kind of moving. How about another Tron movie? Tron Ares? Why do we need another Tron film? Jared Leto, what are we doing? But you know what? The Tron movies are pretty cool. If they bring some coolness in 2025, I'll be excited. How about another Zootopia? I love the first Zootopia. I'm nervous for a sequel, kind of like The Bad Guys 2, but let's see what they can do with it. And finally, how about Captain America: Brave New World? Look, I don't know what this movie is going to be. It could crash and burn so hard because of all of the reshoots, behind-the-scenes drama, but it could also be genuinely surprising, capture that Winter Soldier feel. The trailers have me both nervous from a visual standpoint, but also excited because I think they're very well constructed, so we'll see. Not my top most anticipated Marvel films. All right, now some original movies that I'm kind of excited about. We'll start with Osgood Perkins, the director that brought us Longlegs last year. He's tackling Stephen King's The Monkey, which feels more generic than a movie like Longlegs, but it's a Stephen King story, and Osgood Perkins has shown himself to be a good director. How about the Untitled Christy Martin biopic? This is Sydney Sweeney, from the director of a movie like The King and Animal Kingdom and War Machine, which I didn't love, but solid director there. A movie about a female boxer, which is partially why Sydney Sweeney looks jacked in that picture. The Legend of, is this Ochi? Achi? I've heard pretty good things about this. I've heard this is a really cute movie. Finn Wolfhard, Willem Dafoe. I believe, without looking, this is an A24 film, so this could be really interesting. The Death of a Unicorn. I kind of like this trailer. It looks wacky, crazy. Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, Will Poulter. I believe this is also an A24 movie. How about Kogonada's new film, the director of After Yang, Columbus? Once again, starring Colin Farrell. You have Margot Robbie in here, Jodie Turner-Smith. Who cares what this is about? This is a great pairing, a really out-of-the-box director, and it could be really interesting. Paul Feig's new movie, The Housemaid, Amanda Seyfried, Sydney Sweeney. Look, Paul Feig hasn't done it for me in a while, but this could be one to get him back on track. How about Die, My Love? A woman living in a remote area driven to insanity by a marriage, but you have Robert Pattinson, Lakeith Stanfield, and Jennifer Lawrence. A lot of these movies that I don't know about, it's the cast or the director getting me excited, but just trying to put them on your radar. Steven Soderbergh, Black Bag. This is Cate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender. Our main character's wife is suspected of betraying a nation, and Michael Fassbender's George is facing the ultimate test. Is he loyal to his marriage or his country? That sounds really interesting for me. Scott Derrickson's The Gorge. Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy, these two operatives are appointed to post to guard this gorge that is apparently like something like a portal to hell along those lines. Okay, Scott Derrickson, a very good horror director. Guy Ritchie's In the Gray. Henry Cavill and Jake Gyllenhaal, two extraction specialists, must plan an escape path for a high-level female negotiator. This sounds like a Guy Ritchie movie that I would get excited about, and I believe Jake Gyllenhaal, that pairing is really exciting, as well as bringing back Henry Cavill. Coming very soon, we have Wolfman, Lee Whannell. Lee Whannell is just a really good horror director. I haven't been blown away by the trailers for this film, but I trust the talent involved. Then we have Edward Berger's The Ballad of a Small Player, starring Colin Farrell, Tilda Swinton. Edward Berger, who directed Conclave this year, is back at it again next year. I love him for All Quiet on the Western Front. Anything he does is going to get me excited. And finally, Darren Aronofsky's brand new film starring Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz. This one could go up higher on my list, Caught Stealing. It looks really interesting. Austin Butler could showcase his talents, but again, a lot of these just kind of require trailers for me. Now we move into the category of films that I'm even more excited about, starting with the sequels, franchise movies. How about Thunderbolts? One of my more anticipated Marvel movies, just because of that Suicide Squad-esque feeling to it, and it could be kind of different for the MCU. Nobody 2. I really enjoyed the first one, but this one comes to us from the director of The Night Comes for Us and The Shadow Strays, two of the better recent action films, so we could see something that is far better than the first. How about The Accountant 2? Probably too many years too late, but I really enjoyed the first Accountant, and I don't know what this movie's going to be, but I'm looking forward to it. Staying in the action genre, Novocaine starring Jack Quaid, an insane-looking action thriller where this guy just doesn't feel pain. All right, I'm on board. Love Hurts. Ke Huy Quan, my fave, starring in an action role. Ariana DeBose is in here as well. Let's hope she was better. She's better here than she was in Craven. You know what rhymes with Craven? How about a raven? There's a raven on this poster. You guys remember Travis Knight, who directed Kubo and the Two Strings? Well, there's a brand new movie called Wildwood coming out with Mahershala Ali, Angela Bassett, Jake Johnson, Jacob Tremblay. It looks, or it sounds, outstanding. I love me a good animated film. Absolutely in my countdown. The Drama, another Robert Pattinson movie, this time with Zendaya, a couple experiencing a crisis. No clue what this is going to be, but I just love this cast. From the director of Blue Valentine and Place Beyond the Pines comes Roof Man, starring Channing Tatum, about a guy who locks himself into a toy store. Or I guess he hides in a toy store and falls in love. Look, this sounds weird, but I love the director. Predator Badlands. Look, I thought he did an excellent job with Prey. Glad to have Trachtenberg back on board. But this one, to be honest with you, on paper, sounds more interesting than Prey. So sign me up. Look, I'm going to throw in The Passion of the Christ, too. I understand why you would be nervous for this, but I thought the first Passion of the Christ it just kind of blew me away with its emotions, and bring more Bible stories to the big screen, man. There's so much you can do. Here's one that interests me. Mike Flanagan, The Life of Chuck. Amazing buzz from a few film festivals this year. Tom Hiddleston, Mark Hamill, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and his first movie that isn't really a horror film. That's interesting. Next up, there's a Luca Guadagnino film. We have to talk about it. After the Hunt. This one has Julia Roberts, Ayo Edebiri, Andrew Garfield, Michael Stuhlbarg. College professor finds herself at a crossroads when something happens with her star pupil, and secrets, lust. Who cares? It's Luca Guadagnino. There's a brand new Richard Linklater film called Blue Moon, starring Ethan Hawke, Margaret Qualley, Bobby Cannavale, and Andrew Scott. Honestly, who cares what this is about? I love everyone working together on that. How about Elio? There's a Pixar movie, you got to put it on this list. Zoe Saldana, Brad Garrett, pretty good voice cast. It looks like a very cute film, but again, we're kind of waiting on Pixar to once again bring back that original magic. How about David Lowery's Hamnet, I believe? His first movie since The Green Knight. I'm a really big David Lowery fan. This is I think it's a musical, starring Anne Hathaway, Hunter Schafer. Like, I don't know what type of movie this is going to be, but David Lowery is a fascinating filmmaker, so gotta talk about it. Taika Waititi's new movie, Clara and the Sun. Look, I know it's been a rough couple of years for Taika, but I'm always going to give him a chance, an opportunity. This could be his chance to get back on track. Look, I'm going to throw this in there. I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy. Until Dawn, based on the video game. David F. Sandberg. I think that's why this is on the list. David F. Sandberg's done a nice job. Even the Shazam movies, better than they should have been. How about another Soderbergh movie? Presence. This is an interesting idea. From the ghost's point of view, following around this family, looking upon them. I don't know how this is going to work. We had a similar movie last year, but this one feels even more special, and it's Steven Soderbergh, so let's see how this goes. Now, this one came very close to being even higher. Shane Black's Play Dirty, Mark Wahlberg, and Lakeith Stanfield. This sounds like classic Shane Black to me, so I hope this is one that feels like his old school stuff. Next up, I know a lot of you guys are going to scoff. Chloe Zhao, who did The Eternals, but getting back to her roots here, Jessie Buckley, Paul Mescal. This is Hamnet, so something about Shakespeare and Hamlet? I don't know. No, the premise actually does sound really interesting. Cooper Raiff. Look, I am a huge Cooper Raiff fan. Cha-Cha, real smooth, one of my favorites of that year. Shithouse was really good, so let's see what he does here. But this time, you've got Cooper Hoffman, David Harbour. This is the rise and fall of someone named Jimmy, a Connecticut trash magnet and associate of a crime family. Who knows what direction this is going to go in, but I trust Cooper Raiff. And finally, Celine Song's brand new film. Obviously, what Song did with Past Lives, but this one has Dakota Johnson and Pedro Pascal, along with Chris Evans. Is Chris Evans finally getting his career back on track with a director like this? Man, I hope this is special. I hope Chris Evans has a new agent. All right, let's take a breather. Look, the whole point of this is to get you all excited for all of these movies or some of them to add them to your watch list or not. And so if there's a movie that I somehow, but I have no clue how I would, missed, or if there's something that you want to talk about, be sure to get in that comment section. And if you enjoy this massive most anticipated list, dropping that like would be amazing. It tells me that you want to see more like it. These are the films that almost made my top 10 most anticipated. These are the ones that were fighting for those final spots, and we have some really good ones here, starting with Rip from Joe Carnahan. This is Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. By the way, I'm a big Joe Carnahan fan. Not all of his movies have worked, but something like A Boss Level, The Gray, Smokin' Aces. A fun filmography. Love the cast here. That's exciting. Next up, Alex Garland directed Civil War. Almost cracked my top 10 in 2024. This is warfare. We're following around this group of Navy SEALs. The cast includes Kit Connor, Cosmo Jarvis, Joseph Quinn, Charles Melton, Noah Centineo. And I know people watch that trailer and they're like, I've seen this 1,000 times. But what Alex Garland did with Civil War, making it so different compared to expectations. And now this could be something cool. About Spike Lee, a remake of Akira Kurosawa's 1963 movie, High and Low. This is Highest to Lowest with Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright, Ice Spice. Okay. This one's lower down simply because it's a remake of a phenomenal movie, and that has me worried, but it's Spike Lee, and so that has me really excited. Jay Kelly, Noah Baumbach. I've just become such a big Noah fan. I know White Noise didn't work for everyone, but Marriage Story was spectacular. But man, I love this cast. George Clooney, Laura Dern, and Adam Sandler. A coming-of-age story about adults. Come on, man. This is like classic Noah Baumbach. I think this is pronounced Bugonia. Two conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap a high-powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she's an alien intent on destroying Earth. It's Yorgos Lanthimos, of course it is, right? Pairing up once again with Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Alicia Silverstone. What's going on here? Look, Yorgos didn't hit for me this year, but he has hit most other times, and that pairing with Emma Stone was great. Scott Cooper directed a movie by the name of Hostiles. He hasn't done anything that good since, but Deliver Me From Nowhere. This is about Bruce Springsteen embarking on a journey to record Nebraska, and Bruce Springsteen is played by Jeremy Allen White. You also have Jeremy Strong, Paul Walter Hauser, Odessa Young. I think this could be a really special movie. Jeremy Allen White is a special talent. Pair that with Bruce Springsteen. Come on. From director Na Hong Jin, who directed The Wailing, which is a really underrated movie. This is his next feature film. There's a mysterious discovery made on the outskirts of this remote harbor town. And, oh, by the way, Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander and Taylor Russell, Cameron Britton are all in this film, even though it's mostly in the Korean language. I have a feeling this could end up somewhere near my top 10 of the year next year. I genuinely mean that. All right, now we're getting into some movies that you're going to recognize here. Wicked for Good. Okay, the first Wicked was nowhere near my list last year. This Wicked is near because I really liked the first one. I'm excited to see what they have next. I don't know where the story's going to go. I have no clue. And so I'm ready to be surprised, man. Jurassic World Rebirth. The Jurassic World trilogy, it just hasn't worked for me. I don't think they're very good. But Gareth Edwards, who directed Rogue One, knows how to do scale, understands a sense of scale. That's going to pair nicely with Jurassic Park. The cast is really good. Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey. This could be special. How about Sinners? I've heard this is a vampire story. I don't know exactly where this is going to go. But the trailer's fascinating. I love the look and feel of it. Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan playing brothers. I mean, come on. It has all of the makings to be something wholly original and truly special. You got a Rian Johnson Knives Out movie. You've got to put it on the list. Wake Up, Dead Man. Benoit Blanc is back once again. Don't know anything, but you got a great cast. Kaylee Spaney, Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Kerry Washington, Josh Brolin, Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis, Thomas Hayden Church. I mean, come on, man. You know it's going to be great. And Daniel Craig, once again playing this role. Fuse, David Mackenzie, the director of Hell or High Water. And I understand it's a different writer this time around, but I just really like David Mackenzie as a director. His look, his feel, his style. You have Aaron Taylor Johnson, Theo James, Sam Worthington. A long-buried World War II bomb is found in central London, and this sparks a citywide evacuation. That's all we know. I love this cast. I'm excited by this director. Man, look at all these directors in 2025. Gareth Evans returns, right? The Raid 2. He did Apostle recently. Tom Hardy, Forrest Whitaker, Timothy Oliphant. I'm so excited. After a drug deal gone wrong, a bruised detective must fight his way through a criminal underworld to rescue a politician's estranged son. I'm getting the Raid vibes. I get it. It's not going to be, but maybe it will be. Who knows? This one hurt, leaving it out of my top 10. Marty Supreme. You've got the Safdie brothers, each directing something individually this year. This one's Josh Safdie, Timothy Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow, Tyler, the Creator, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. It's a fictional story set in 1950s ping pong culture inspired by the life of professional ping pong player Marty Reisman. What in the world is this movie going to be about? Kevin O'Leary? All right, sign me up. It's a Safdie, bro. We're getting close to the top 10, folks. The Battle of Bacton Cross, Paul Thomas Anderson. How could I not put this in my top 10? Because it's PTA and Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Sean Penn. Alas, I don't have a description of this film. And again, I keep saying, who cares what the description is? You got the director, you got the actor. But to make it into my top 10, out of all of these films, the top 10, I've got to know a little something about it. And because I don't, it's right outside looking in. But I have a feeling as soon as I see that trailer, as soon as we get a description, it's going to shoot into the top 10. Come on. Same case here. No Other Choice. Park Chan-wook. I love Decision to Leave. Handmaiden is spectacular. Old Boy is a classic. You have a man devising a plan to secure a new job. That is to eliminate his competition. Oh my God. My body is ready for this film. And finally, not a Frankenstein movie, but a Bride of Frankenstein movie directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, starring Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale as the steamy version of Frankenstein's monster. This could be interesting. I'm excited. Longest list ever, you say? I hope you found a movie to latch onto from this list, but now it's time to get into my personal top 10, and rarely is there a lot of crossover from my most anticipated to the movies that come out and just come out of nowhere, surprise me, but I have a feeling this year there's a couple of contenders. Last year it was Dune, and then it was Dune this year. Is my number one going to be my favorite? Doubt it, but we'll see. We go from Bride of Frankenstein to Frankenstein, and this is Guillermo del Toro's version of Frankenstein. Jacob Elordi playing Frankenstein's monster. Mia Goth is in this film. Oscar Isaac, Christoph Waltz, who I really enjoy as an actor. You know Del Toro, this is like his world. This is exactly where he wants to live, because a lot of his movies feel like a 1930s monster film, and this is the ultimate film, I believe, the ultimate marriage for him. I love the cast. Now, initially, Andrew Garfield was supposed to be Frankenstein's monster. Admittedly, that got me a little bit more excited. But with Nosferatu last year, what he did with Pinocchio, I'm pumped. This is live action, by the way. I genuinely believe this could make a splash. Smashing. We go from Josh Safdie to Benny Safdie, the other Safdie brother. I'm sad that they broke up. But at the same time, dual Safdie movies. And this movie is called The Smashing Machine, starring Emily Blunt and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So I'm immediately like, okay, it's an A24 film, I believe. It's all about MMA fighter Mark Kerr struggling with addiction, winning, and love during his peak era in the UFC. And the way that Uncut Gems and Good Time made me feel, I feel if you transfer that over to both of the Safdie movies this year, but this one and allow Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to maybe do something different, right? He already looks a little different with the prosthetics, but giving this man the opportunity to turn his career around, not box office-wise, because we know he's good at that, but to allow us critics to sit back and think, okay, no, this guy can do it. He can actually perform. We've seen it, shades of it, throughout his career. I believe this is it. If he does it here, this could be the big break that The Rock needs. Don't listen to me when I say stupid stuff like that. I want to prove to everyone, or I know he does, that this guy could be a good actor if he put it all in, and I think he's going to put it in here.
That's what she said.
Ari Aster, Beau is Afraid. No, I'm just kidding. He already did that. It wasn't the best, but Eddington, Now, this is something, we're often seeing Ari Aster work in the world of horror, and Beau is Afraid wasn't that, but it still operated like that type of movie. I'm looking at Eddington, described as a small-town New Mexico sheriff with higher aspirations in the world of a Western, and I'm not really seeing shades of horror in that description. I'm not feeling it from the behind-the-scenes stuff. This is just a different genre for Ari Aster. I also like this cast. Pedro Pascal, Austin Butler, Emma Stone, Joaquin Phoenix. So another opportunity to really showcase that marriage, that pairing here. This is so exciting because I love a good Western. I love a movie that has this type of vibe, just from that summary, that description. But it's going to take a turn. Is it going to take a horror turn? I don't know. But it is. And so I'm also looking for Ari Aster, part of why this is in my top 10, to say, hey, I'm going to get back to my top form. And that top form was in the midst of Hereditary, but apply it to a different genre. So I'm really excited about this. I love a good Western. Let's see what happens. Danny Boyle, 28 years later. Look, the cast is solid. Aaron Taylor Johnson, yada, yada, yada. Shot with an iPhone. That's a big deal. Cool, I guess. The trailer. Rarely is marketing so good. It boosts a movie up my most anticipated list. And not that I wasn't excited about this. I'm excited for everyone to return here. Garland and Boyle, Cillian Murphy, probably, who's not the zombie in the trailer. I learned that recently. That trailer is unbelievable. I didn't get to do a reaction on this channel because I just started watching it. I'm like, dang it. Could have reacted. Would have been inauthentic, but it looks amazing. A zombie movie in 2025, kind of breaking those boundaries that we know. And I don't know if it's going to be that, but with all of these people involved, you have to think it's going to be kind of special. Danny Boyle returning to the director's chair after the first. I'm super pumped for this. The Running Man, Edgar Wright. You remember the Arnie version of this? Oh, that film, well, we'll talk about it one day on this channel. But I think with this description and really what this is based off of, having the opportunity to apply that to 2025, obviously further in the future, but kind of run with it in a different way. The politics of it all could really factor into making this something truly special. It's an oppressive future where the government controls the media. Well, Ben Richards wants to participate in a deadly game show. He's played by Glenn Powell. You also have Katie O'Brien, Josh Brolin, Lee Pace, Michael Cera, Emilia Jones. I love everything about this. And Austin, this movie doesn't need a reboot. I think it does, because I think you could do something a little closer to that source material, but also apply Edgar Wright's touch to this script. And that's all I need to think that this is going to be a movie people are going to latch onto. And I think it could do very well at the box office. Glenn Powell, he is a draw at this point, as he should be. So The Running Man looks awesome. I hope it's way different than the first movie. Easy. You know what would be on here. It's Avatar. Just like the Avatar The Last Airbender show, we went from, the first Avatar, Earth, to water, to fire. No, look, we know James Cameron is cooking up something special, magical, a theatrical experience that is incredible. And so far, this movie, or this franchise, has gotten better with each film. I thought the first one was good, broke ground at the time. I thought the second one was significantly better, and I loved it. It was one of my top 10 movies of that year. And so you look at Fire and Ash, what it could be able to do, bring to the table, and change the game. Once again, at this point, I don't care if it changes the game. I just want a really good story script. And that's the one thing about these films where you could start to pick apart a little bit, but it's the experience, the gravitas of it all, and I think a really good cast. And so I'm super pumped for this. James Cameron, blow us away. Are we finally getting Mickey 17? I mean, this movie has moved so many times. I just want to watch it. And that's possibly why it's a little lower down my list. I say lower down. Out of 90-something movies, it's number, 5 or 6? But you look at how far this has moved away from that initial release date, and it kind of bums me out. But at the same time, that trailer, which is weird, but at the same time, I'm watching it going, this could be really cool. Like, it's a cool weird as opposed to a bad weird. And I love Robert Pattinson getting the opportunity to do something like this under the banner of Bong Joon-ho. I also like the rest of the cast quite a bit. And I'm just craving original sci-fi, man. I am craving it. I want something. I need something in the genre that hits really hard right now. And who better to direct that than Bong Joon-ho, who is all about originality. And if he's adapting something, it usually turns out pretty great. And so one of the best filmmakers today, one of the best actors today, it's a great pairing. From the director of Top Gun Maverick, Joseph Kosinski. Admittedly, there was another movie that came out that year that he directed that wasn't that good. And so, Austin, is that it? It's just Joseph Kosinski and Brad Pitt? Is that getting you excited? Actually, once again, it was that initial trailer. And what I am looking for in my most anticipated list, in my top 10, right, is a movie that's going to give me and deliver a great theatrical experience. I genuinely believe F1 could do that. Did you watch the trailer? Not on the computer. Did you watch it on the big screen? I saw it in the Cinemark recently, and it was just roaring, and that's exactly how I want to feel, man. How they shot Top Gun Maverick, first of all, looked incredible, but it also felt incredible. They're doing that here, applying it to F1. Brad Pitt actually driving around, and the camera angles in the midst of that. Now, it's not going to be probably as difficult to capture or as chaotic in a good way as Top Gun Maverick, but I am so pumped for these racing scenes. Ford v Ferrari remains one of my favorites from the last 10 years. I just love movies like this. I don't even know what the story's going to be. Sign me up right now for the biggest IMAX screen in the country, and I will seek that out. It's the final reckoning. This is it. Probably. Depends on the box office. This is the final time. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Tom Cruise is starring in a Mission Impossible movie. Well, I doubt it, but they're saying it, okay? They're claiming this to be the final reckoning. I love this franchise. It gets better with every movie. Now, not technically, okay, because my favorite is still Henry Cavill mustache. It has a name. It's called Fallout. That's still my favorite, but the consistency remains. And ever since the third film, they have just went a little better, and they just remain so consistent. It's my favorite spy espionage genre movie franchise ever. All time. And so how can I not be looking forward to the final reckoning? They continue to add the additions to the cast consistently, awesome, but they also do things in every movie that I'm not expecting, whether it be the big stunt that you're always looking forward to, but really just a chasing sequence or an action sequence or those reveals, the masks, how they continually use those, man. I don't know where this movie's going to go. They set it up nicely in Dead Reckoning Part 1, and then they took away the Part 1. They're like, this is the final reckoning. It's really Part 2. But man, I hope it crushes. Number 1. No, wait. There's actually 2. I couldn't do it. I couldn't choose. And I knew if I did choose, then I would be chewed out on the internet. But really, in reality, I couldn't choose. If I had to give you one that's maybe right now, in the moment, kind of hit me a little bit harder, it would have to be Superman. Because that's the trailer that we got. We haven't got a trailer from Fantastic Four yet. Now, Fantastic Four is getting me pumped just based off of the leaked score, the soundtrack. I may or may not have seen some things that have been online. Maybe, I don't know. But I believe these two films are the opportunities for these studios to get back on track with Marvel. And look, you could say Deadpool and Wolverine, I understand that. But we need to continue that trajectory, right? That trajectory starts with Captain America, and we'll see how that goes. But it could pick back up massively with Fantastic Four if it just breathes a fresh breath into the franchise. I think that's going to be incredible. And I can't wait for the trailers and the marketing and everything to start. The more I think about this casting, the more I like it. I feel like everything is coming together in the way that they intend. And then for DC, not really to get back on track, because obviously we're starting anew here, but to set the stage in the right way. And you can say Creature Commandos, but it's different with a movie. I mean, this is their ability, their opportunity to establish this universe that already exists and give us something I think that a lot of people are looking for, and that's a sense of hope, optimism, and almost everything that people are wanting to see from Superman. And I watched that trailer, the emotions are pouring from it. I mean, it has a soul, which I appreciate. The look's going to take a bit of getting used to from some people, but all in all, I have went back and watched it over and over just because I get the vibe of what it's trying to do, of how it's trying to make you feel, and I really hope James Gunn, and we know James Gunn has done well with the Guardians movies, but is he going to nail that transition from Marvel to DC? And that's probably why I have that tied for my number 1, because I'm just excited to see it all play out, man. I'm excited to see where this is going to go, and I love Henry Cavill. He's my favorite Superman. My all-time favorite. It bums me out that he's not coming back. But I'm okay with a breath of fresh air because, again, that universe it was too inconsistent to continue to go, and people, it felt like, just lost interest. Like, I have people in my everyday life that never watched a DCEU movie that are talking about this trailer. That's a good thing. They're doing their job so far. So that, along with what I said about Fantastic Four, both of these movies from rival studios. Well, rival studios that want each other to do well. And I think that's the coolest part about it. I'm so pumped, coming out right next to each other. I don't know how this is going to go, but man, this is exciting. I mean, 2025, it's going to be a really good year for blockbusters. I hope. I think I said that last year too. Well, didn't go great. So again, massive video for this channel. If you all drop a like on this video right now, if we can get 500 or even hit that next threshold, 1,000, that would be incredible. But if we can get 500 likes on this most anticipated video, I may do an awards show on this channel, okay, with nominees that we're all going to get excited about and let you choose the winner. I'm contemplating, okay, we're getting close to that Oscar season where it's really picking up. If y'all want to see that, we'll do it. I think it would be so much fun. And stay tuned because my best TV shows of 2024 is coming very, very soon, along with a trip this weekend that I've taken to the Critics' Choice Awards. We will see how that goes. I'm excited, nervous, but motivated. I'll see you soon.